Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au. I'm from Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube and Instagram for that matter. So welcome, I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the 14th, 15th, 16th and 17th of March 2024. So I trust this video finds you well. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Thursday the 14th of March here, and the time is 6:56 a.m. So I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my oracle cards that I created. I've got two decks combined here, the Animal Kingdom Oracle and the Speed of Light Oracle. And I'll be using this combined deck of 110 cards to find our best cards for these next 4 days. So I'm looking at the days separately, and then I'm going to pull a theme card for the whole time period. So I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared supports you at this time. So what I recommend you do is take on board what feels right and what resonates and what fits into your life easily, and let the rest go. So, good morning, Carol. Good morning, everybody. Let's get straight into it. I'm looking for the best card that the majority of us need for Thursday, the 14th of March. So the best card to start this 4-day focus is a Speed of Light Oracle. And it's this. Oh, yes. And it is interesting because in the last 24 hours, I've noticed quite a significant amount of deaths and a significant amount of accidents. So I'm not really surprised that the cobra bite has come up. And if you haven't connected with the cobra bite before, you'll soon find out why. And it has further instructions here because it's a featured card, which says to take the top card from the deck. So we just go back to the deck and pull the dragon. Okay, so we've got these two cards. Hi, Deb. We've got these two cards for Thursday, the 14th of March. They've come up together for a reason, and I'm going to look at them separately first. These are two very powerful cards. We have the Cobra Bite, card 9. It says Sting, Shock, Truth, Illusion. And it usually brings up some type of shock, some type of surprise, something like, a bite of sorts, something that really takes us by surprise. I've seen this card come up for the really good surprises, and I've seen it come up for the not so good surprises too. So basically this card is highlighting that something might potentially be happening at this time that might take us by surprise. And like I say, there has been a significant number of deaths and accidents just in less than the last 24 hours that I've already been seeing. Nothing, thankfully, that affects me personally, but I'm noticing like a spike in this last day or so, even overnight. So in the early hours of this morning, I'm also seeing, and that's just what I'm seeing, and there's probably other things going on that people aren't talking about publicly or letting me know about. So there just seems to be this sort of things taking us by surprise. So let's just be perhaps extra attentive to things. Hopefully we shouldn't feel that we need to curl up in bed all day and just kind of ride the day out privately and quietly, although some of us may feel that. But this card is not about the fear, about living in fear. It's not highlighting that. What's highlighted here is truth. So usually this card and whatever comes up with it, and can be good surprises. I have seen really good surprises, really interesting ones come up with this card too. So, we don't want to be avoiding that either. But I have seen that this card tends to come with an awakening of sorts, something that wakes us up, usually to the truth of things, or the truth, the heart of the matter, let's say. So that's the Cobra Bite, and it comes up with the Earth Dragon. I can't remember the Cobra Bite. I can't remember it ever coming up with the Earth, with any dragon before. So this is pretty powerful. It's card 25. The Earth Dragon says physical reformation. And for those of you who are new to my decks, there are 5 dragons in the whole deck, and the dragons are the most powerful cards in the deck, in my opinion. So the Earth Dragon talks about physical change. So things are reforming and changing in our physical life. And maybe part of the shock or the surprise, you know, good or not so good, whatever that might be in this sort of period of time, is potentially having consequences or ongoing shifts, or at least an immediate shift in our physical life. So maybe something's happening or happens that stops us from working or stops us from moving ahead. Maybe there is a loss or a grief that sort of takes us by surprise and knocks us physically about in our physical life for a little bit. I don't see this potentially being permanent, although these types of things can have an ongoing effect on us, you know, in a, they can have an ongoing effect. So, yeah, I think Thursday's potentially going to be a very powerful day. So let's see what happens. And, you know, like I say, I've seen it come up already in less than 24 hours. So it could also be, including Wednesday, it could even be overlapping into Friday because the energy is so potent and so strong. So that's Thursday. Let's see how we go. Good morning, Pamela and Anita and Manahia. Welcome. We have now the best card I'm looking for Friday, the 15th of March. So the best card for the majority of us for Friday is this. It's another Speed of Light Oracle. And it's a Gaia card, 33. It says spring, nature, message, listen, and life. So this is life calling us. It's like life has a message for us. Life calls us into its mysteries and its game and its adventures. So are we listening to the call of life that calls within us and that calls to us perhaps externally? Life wants to grow. Life wants to become more. So there is a sense here of potentially connecting with purpose, but it might be a little bit less than that. You know, purpose to me feels like something that we're sort of establishing a connection, establishing a momentum with life. This card's like the calling. It's like calling us out of something, calling us out of ourselves if we've been, you know, feeling doubtful or unconfident, calling us into something, and it's some type of adventure in life. And it's through that calling and following that calling where we find the purpose and we find the meaning within that as we journey on. So it's not usually something we wake up with, is a sense of purpose. You know, it's unlikely that we go to sleep at night feeling a bit down and then we wake up with a sense of purpose. It doesn't usually happen that quickly. So this is the calling. This is the call to sort of step out, the call to, it feels to me like step out of the house and walk out the door, the call out into the world kind of feeling here. There's spring in the air, so this spring is new beginnings, and some of us may be called to nature on Friday, perhaps the garden, perhaps time in nature, but we might feel quite the pull to be in nature. So that's for Friday. Now, let's now look for our best card for Saturday, the 16th of March. So Saturday the 16th, the best card for the majority of us. Hi, Logan. Oops. The best card for Saturday the 16th of March for the majority of us is this. It's another Speed of Light Oracle. And it says, it is this. Okay, this is another intense card. Card 42, the Tree Maiden. It says endings, surrender, growth, and illumination. This is actually a potent card, so it's probably up there, be up there quite equally with the Cobra Bite, really. This is a very intense card, and it depends how much we've been ignoring things. You know, the more we ignore something, the louder it gets. So this is highlighting something in our life or something about ourselves that might, or our relationships, that may be under the magnifying glass or under the spotlight. You know, when things are spotlighted or under the magnifying glass, they're more amplified, they're bigger, they're brighter, they're louder. So there is an intensity and an amplification with this particular card. And it's usually because we've been ignoring something. It's not typically coming up as a surprise thing, like the cobra bite is more of a surprise, a shock, or something that sort of stuns us perhaps for a little bit in a good way or a not so good way. This is something that has potentially been building, because I don't know that things are just suddenly amplified. I think that things in life get louder and louder and louder, trying to get our attention. You know, when we're trying to tell someone something about themselves that we may be noticing that maybe is not so good, and so we might be just dropping little subtle hints to begin with, and it's not been noticed. So then we've got to get louder, and we've got to get a little bit more direct, and sometimes we just have to end up getting really blunt. So it's like that thing that just ends up sort of building up over time. So something may have been building over time. I mean, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise if we've been paying any attention or been aware even a little bit that this is happening. So something may be under the spotlight. So what might that look like in our life? It could be a growing sense of difficulty, especially in things like relationships in the workplace, around the home. But it shouldn't be something that is totally surprising to us. If we've been aware even slightly, it should be something that's potentially been building. Now, this card does highlight endings, and there's probably something that needs to cease or stop or end. So there might be a door that needs to close, that it could be our own attitude and behaviour. There might be something unhealthy about our approach to something that we may need to close the door on. So let's be super aware. Let's not be too daunted by whatever's loud and amplified potentially on Saturday, but let's use this as an opportunity to see more clearly something that's not working, something about us, our relationships, our life itself that may not be working and most likely hasn't been working for a while. So what can we do to change that? What can we do to shift things? How can we take a bit of responsibility in that as well by shifting or changing or improving ourselves in that particular situation? There is growth that's also coming with this card. So it tends to bring endings, but it certainly brings growth if we're willing to see whatever's loud and under the magnifying glass. So an intensity for Saturday and definitely an intensity for Thursday, and this could definitely overlap into Friday, although Friday's card's a little bit more relaxed, let's say. But sometimes potent energy sort of ricochets out or ripples out and can ripple out into other days. So there could be this overlap. It almost feels like a glow, like Thursday, this glow of surprise and a physical change, but it feels like it sort of glows on either side of Thursday, and Saturday's feels like it's under a bit of a glow as well. So the glow could ripple out into days prior or days after. Now, Sunday, the 17th of March, let's see what we've got here. So it's already looking like a pretty intense time period. So the best card for Sunday, the 17th of March, for the majority of us is, hi everyone, it's another Speed of Light. So the Speed of Light Oracle cards are very direct, very truth-focused as well. So we have light codes. So this is interesting, card 41. We haven't seen this for a while. In fact, if you're new to watching, you may not have really noticed this card. You may not have even seen it before. It says incoming information, memories and language. This is energy coming in. Usually energy comes in when we've shifted through some stuff and we've made room for it. Although that's not always the case, but that tends to be when energy comes in. It's like if we're a wardrobe or a cupboard and we're full of stuff, and there might be energy wanting to come in, new things, that sort of thing. But if there's no room, it's just sort of going to sit on the outside, perhaps and wait or even wane. So we may have already been doing some clearing out. some of us may have been inspired to do that in the last few days or even the last week or so. We might have just been in this strange clearing, cleansing, spring cleaning kind of mode without being able to explain why, but we just feel it. So some of us may have already been making room within ourselves and our lives for this new energy that wants to come in. So Sunday is energy coming in, and when I drew this, it's like the crown of the head here, and then light codes or energies coming into the crown. This may not show up as anything specific yet, because sometimes this is just light. It's energy. It's energy that's coming in, and then it finds its place within our body, within our life, and then it manifests. So then we find a way to express that as something we create or bring into our life. So it may be something we just feel as we might feel receptive. We might feel energy moving in our body on Sunday. Sometimes, and with this particular card, sometimes we feel like we need to write or draw or do something with our fine motor skills, with our hands, as a way to sort of help bring that energy through. So that may be something that some of us feel. Some of us may be have light bulb idea moments too around Sunday, where we have this spark of an idea. So we might find that potentially coming in as well. So new energies coming in. I guess the best way we can prepare, either consciously or perhaps unconsciously, we're probably already preparing if this is right for us, is to clear some stuff out of the way. So we might find in the days prior to Sunday that we're closing doors, that we're sorting things out, we're taking rubbish away, we're throwing out things that we haven't used for a long time, or even reusing things we haven't used for a long time, repurposing things. So we might find out, some of us might feel like we just need to have a clear out. So that's our card for Sunday, light codes. So thank you. I'm going to pull a theme card in just a moment. Before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment, please share if you're inspired to. And if you'd prefer to connect more privately, then please send us a message through our website. If you'd like to learn more about my cards here and start working with them yourselves, they both decks come with a guidebook, and they're sold separately, and you can either use them separately or join them together like I do. I've also just released some new ceramics on my ceramics website, including 2 porcelain beaded necklaces like this, which are very strong. Porcelain's the strongest of the clay once it's fired. So you can learn more about my necklaces or other things that I've just released, some cups, my grandmother series collection that I've been making last year. Also my light within lamp, well, she's not a lamp anymore, she's outside as a sculpture, but she's for local pickup if you're in Tasmania. But you can learn more about my ceramics at leannepeters.com. That's LEEANNE Peters.com. And if you want to learn more about my work at Temple of Balance, like my card decks and that sort of thing, then please visit templeofbalance.com.au. So actually, I've got my next card reading club is happening today. What time is it? It's happening in 12 hours from now. So take note of the time. What time will it be in 12 hours from now for you? Will you be available for an hour and you'd like to dive a bit deeper into your cards? It can be tarot, it could be my cards, it could be any cards. We'll be connecting up on Zoom for my next card reading club. And we'll be exploring the theme stabilizing trust. So looking at stability, looking at trust and how we can trust more in ourselves and the direction of our life, that kind of thing. And then tomorrow is my next online art class, and we'll be exploring the earth element. So that's at 5 p.m. Sydney time. So you can look on my website to find your local time if you want to. So let's now grab the best theme card for these next 4 days. So the theme card will bring these days together. There's kind of like a 1 day intense, 1 day backing off a little bit or being a little bit more receptive. So there's quite intense energy coming in, and it feels to be like I said, it seems to have a glow that glows and overlaps with other days potentially, like the glow of a moon or the glow of the sun. So even as the sun goes down, it still has light, or before the sun comes up, there is still light that sort of overlaps before the sun reveals itself. So there seems to be quite an intensity, but it could be a bit up and down as well. So the best theme card for the majority of us for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 14th, 15th, 16th and the 17th of March 2024 is this. It's another Speed of Light Oracle card. And a card that we hadn't seen much has now come up for the second time in a row. It came up in the last guidance. It's Expression. Card 31. It says communication, listen, share, deliver, and trust. Trust. Trust in what we have to say. Trust in where we are. Trust that things are unfolding as they need to. Trust in the bigger picture. Now, that can be difficult when things happen, especially things that take us by surprise that aren't so good. Especially when things are under the magnifying glass and we're feeling really confronted by whatever it is that's loud at the moment in our life. So trusting in the bigger picture in those types of moments can actually be quite tricky. But if we can sort of, once the shock kind of kicks in, once we sort of calm down from that initial shock or surprise of whatever might happen, or the amplification of things, and we can get back to our breath, get back to our body and start making some sense of what's been going on, then perhaps part of that is finding a trust in the bigger picture. We may even find it helpful, depending on our situation and what we're going through, is to affirm to ourselves, I trust in the bigger picture, I trust in the bigger picture, that the bigger picture, there's something at play here that is beyond what we can comprehend right now. So that's part of this card. The biggest part of this card is about communication and expression. And this is, like I said in the last video, it's about getting energy moving. It's a moving thing. So if we have things happen, we might, once we make some sense of it, we might want to communicate and express that. Now, it doesn't mean we need to go and tell every single person that we know, although maybe we do. But it can also be just a personal expression, like it could be writing in our journal, it could be thinking things through and then finding a way to express that, perhaps through dance or movement or poetry. I find poetry really supporting that kind of energy when I'm struggling to deal with something or I'm moving through something that's quite intense and I can't find the verbal words for it yet. I'll just sit quietly in myself and so often poetry comes out and it can be really shifting and actually really revealing as to how I do actually feel. So something creative, it could be something arty or creative too, as a way to express and get energy moving. So I think ultimately something for us to remember over these next several days is to keep things moving, try not to bottle things up. But if we need help with something, let's reach out and ask for help. If we're struggling with something or something happens, then let's reach out to our closest people, the closest people in our life, and let them know what's happened and how we can band together or whatever it might be. Let's reach out to those that we see who are going through their own surprises and shocks that might need our help, So communication, expression, getting the energy moving and keeping it moving is probably going to be important. When things happen, things tend to time freezes and sticks and gets stuck a little bit as we sort of figure things out. So let's just remember, keep the energy moving this weekend or these next few days. Let's listen. So communication's not just about spewing words, it's also about listening. So we might need to listen to ourselves, listen to others who are struggling right now. But this sense of coming together, we're all in this together. So whatever happens for us or those closest to us, let's step up and help out or whatever if that's what happens and we need to. So that's our theme. expression, which is actually good. That's a good theme because it's kind of, you know how I said those two intense days, so Thursday and Saturday especially, they feel like a glow, and the glow kind of glows out into the other days either side. So there is this sort of rippling out sort of energy here, a glow. This expression energy is like a wind that comes in. So if it's a glow, so let's say it's something floating and glowing, the theme card's actually like a breeze that comes and actually gets that energy moving, probably quicker than it would if there was no wind, let's say, or nothing moving. It would just sort of hover. You know, like those rainy days that sometimes hover for 5 days, and it just kind of, we just sit in this drizzly rain and there's no wind. We call, they're easterly sort of fronts here for us, and it just kind of sits in and settles in, and you just have that drizzly rain. There's no wind. Well, this theme card brings the breeze. So the breeze is going to help things move along quicker than what they probably would typically, which is a good thing. So let's let the breeze come in. Let's feel the movement. Let's feel the energy shift. Let's express and communicate and listen and reach out and work together with other people as needed, and let that breeze come and blow the potential challenges of these next few days away quicker than they need to be there. So that's that. Thanks for connecting. Have a great few days and a great weekend. Clearly I'll be busy this weekend, which is why I'm doing the weekend today as well. So have a great few days and weekend, and I'll be back to share with you again soon if I don't see you at the Card Reading Club later today or on my online art class tomorrow. Take care, and I'll see you soon.